ready? All right. You see the intensity, right? Just play carefree, though. Don't worry about mistakes. Just go out and play hard.
That wasn't LeBron, the teammate. That was clearly LeBron, the father. And that was LeBron in a vulnerable spot right there, right? You could hear the vulnerability in his voice, in his fatherly tone to Bronny. And it was dope, man. It was doper. It was a cooler moment than I had expected it to be, like, in the moment. Me not being a Laker fan, right? And the reality is, Bronny James may not have earned this. LeBron has, right? LeBron has. And it was touching. It was touching. Now, I heard a lot of people say, oh, it's smart of the Lakers to have got this out of the way and just do this game one and let Bronny play. I suspect there was a phone call made as well by Adam Silver in the league, like, hey, opening night, TNT, viewership, sponsorship, right? It's all intertwined. And so Bronny got his few minutes in the second quarter. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When I first saw D'Lo's hair at tip-off, I was like, oh, they about to get rolled. They about to get rolled by this Wolves team. Not so much. Not so much. Let's talk about this Wolves team. And first and foremost, I think, remember when they bought in Rudy? It took a while for them to mesh. In fact, it took a whole season, right? And Finch, the system and his principles and whatnot. So, we know that there's going to be some chemistry bringing in two main pieces and bringing one guy out and all that, some chemistry issues. But here are the two things that I see about Julius Randle outside of the fact that he does take plays off is, one, if you're going to do this kind of point Randle thing where he grabs and goes and he brings the ball up and initiates the offense, he doesn't push the pace, right? He walks it up like it's a Drew League game. And when you think about Draymond, who is like that, that point forward, that initiator, if you're saying, hey, let's make Randle like a super Draymond, what does Draymond do? He pushes the pace because that's where his advantage is. He grabs and goes, and when have you ever seen Draymond walk the ball up the floor when he brings the ball up, right? It's about pace, so he gains an advantage. Once they're set, it's not really there. And then the other issue I see with Randle, when he's spotted out on the perimeter, he wants to find his rhythm with the dribble. He could be wide open on the wing, the ball gets swung to him, and he wants to take a dribble and a sidestep, right? Or he wants to just find that rhythm. He's not really a catch and shoot guy like Towns can be, and that kind of breaks the flow of the offense. Ant has done all this work to break down the defense, and then Randle starts dribbling again. So, yeah, it didn't look great game one. Now, granted, AD in the paint definitely alters things, and we'll get to him here in a second. The other issue, and again, it's just game one, but what crossed my mind for Minnesota was like, is it time to take Mike Conley out back behind the barn? What is he, 37, 38 years old? He's a micro guard. He is so small. And, if that is the case, young Rob Dillingham is going to have to play sooner rather than later, right? So listen, the Wolves, they're going to have some time to figure it out. It didn't look great. Let's move over to the Lakers. Are we entering AD's MVP era? He's 31 years old. I had made mention of it a few videos ago. I was like, yo, is that what JJ Redick's calling card is going to be initially? Like, he turned AD into an MVP? It's not really fair that he would get the credit, but I haven't seen him shoot this confidently, maybe ever, as a Laker, right? And wouldn't it be kind of ironic that it was like at 31 years old, the expectations had to dissolve before he could just play freely? And he's so comfortable with LeBron. He's comfortable with the Lakers. I think he's trying to impress anybody. He can just play ball. But I think we all understand it's about health with AD. He has been this guy at times and at the beginning of seasons where he is healthy. But hey, man, maybe he's due some luck. I know he played the majority of the season last year, but he was chipped up. I know the games played last year was high, but he wasn't healthy for all of them. He's kind of due some luck. And, to be perfectly honest, I hate it for my Warriors, but I couldn't be mad if we got an MVP AD season because, he's that talented, and it would be a cool story arc for AD in disappointing and then in rising back up like that. But, I think as far as JJ Redick goes and his debut, he's wound tight, man. He is wound tight, and I think he is going to raise the floor of intensity for this Lakers team just from being on the bench, right? Because this is who he is every day. I don't think it's a front. I think he's wired this tight. But honestly, the most impressive thing to me would be is if he's going to get Rui Hachimura to defend like that on a night-to-night basis, you know, you can't front, Warrior fans. The Lakers looked good last night. Granted, the Wolves didn't, you know, but there's a cause and effect with that. Let's move over to this earlier game, which wasn't really a game, right? Mikal Bridges. So I'm sure all of you have seen it, right? It's been trending online, him changing his shot. And in theory, I think it's supposed to look like Kawhi Leonard's shot, right? The theory of it is, hey, we're going to raise your release point so you can use those long arms and you can shoot over shot contests and you can get up more shots, right? But it don't look like that, right? It don't look. You know what it looks like when an old head rolls by the court and he's like, let me get one. But he's got a suit on, he's got a tie, a dress shirt on, can't really extend his elbows, so he just lets go this weird shot, right? It is bad, right? And you know, it at the end of it, the release is fine. Where it finishes is fine. And you know how you say like, oh, don't worry about the results, just enjoy the journey. You know that saying everybody tells you, you know, when it comes to shooting, worry about the journey so you can enjoy the results. It's all about, you know, starts with the balance, the footwork, even pre-catch, right? The triple extension, ankles, knees, hips, the generation of energy, your shot pocket all the way up to the release. A lot of guys finish their shot. It looks fine at the end, but how did it get there? And Mikal Bridges, boy, I mean, Mikal Bridges is damn near 30 years old, right? It's too late. It's like Kenny with the hairline and the beard. It's too late, fam. You cannot, it's too late for all that. I don't know why they would think that it would be a good idea to change his shot at this point in his career. It's far too late. It's almost greedy, honestly, because he is what he is. But in the second half, it looked like he kind of abandoned it, right? But I'm not gonna lie, the funniest part about it is if he did or does try to stick to this shot, playing for the Knicks, you know, fools are gonna pull up on him in the city like, yo, son, your shit is busted. Yo, son, what is that, son? You know what I mean? Like they're gonna be like, he's gonna hear from the New Yorkers if he doesn't fix that or figure it out, right? But yeah, it was a demolition. What was it? 29 threes made by the Celtics, tying the record. Tatum, hey, you know, I saw Bill Simmons already thanking Steve Kerr. Listen, I think we all understood Boston was going to come out with a chip on their shoulder and highly motivated despite being the champs for all the reasons we know. Plus being led by Rain Man Mo, right? Like they're going to, you know, they looked good, but it was one of those avalanches where I'm not sure how much you can take from it. Tatum looks really good. And talking about AD and his MVP era, Tatum, now I haven't watched wrestling in a long time. I'm a attitude era head. I'm an old head like that. But I did watch all the WrestleMania hype this last summer, right? Is Tatum Roman Reigns, where it's like he's never going to have the charisma or the juice of a Stone Cold or a Rock or some of the guys before him. But because he's going to remain at the top for so long and compete for championships, his story is going to be so long, maybe that's going to be his career arc where you're just going to have to accept his greatness. You know what I'm saying? I'm not willing to do it yet, but the shot undoubtedly looks smoother and the Celtics look like a well-oiled machine. Again, I'm not sure how much you can take from either of these games because it is game one. But it was, I'll say this, it was a very entertaining opening night despite the games not being as competitive as you would have hoped for, right? But New York, listen, man, they attacked Cat relentlessly. Here's the thing, and Tibbs, what I don't understand is Tibbs has coached Karl Towns. He cannot play drop coverage. Now, I know you say, well, you don't want him to switch out onto the perimeter on guys. I know that, but he just doesn't have the feel to play that middle ground. He just can't do it. And so they're going to have to figure that out. But the Knicks have clearly changed their identity. I said it when the trade happened, and you bring in Towns and Bridges, who, let's be honest, they're soft. They're softer players. They're highly talented, high character players. They're going to fit into pretty much any locker room, but they don't have an edge to them, right? And so the Knicks, I think, out of all of the teams last night, despite the three-point shooting, they're going to have to refine their identity. The Wolves are going to have to work out more of like logistics. And again, I maintain from day one of the trade, bring Randall off the bench. Let him kind of do his own thing with Dillingham, maybe a two-man game like that way. Start Nas and get back to the flowing offense, because the thing that we know about Ant is if they're struggling come February, he ain't going to be able to hide it, right? He's not, I know that they've probably done some media training with him, but Ant's Ant, and, you know, he ain't going to be able to hide it. So we'll see how long it takes for the Wolves to work things out. But you heard a lot of people say, hey, it's a lose-lose trade. It's a lose-lose trade. Not so fast. Not so fast. Let them work things out. But all in all, a really entertaining opening night. But Dub Nation, don't worry. This will always be a Dubs channel, and that's what I will prioritize. But in trying to grow the channel, I'm going to tap in on other big games and keep tabs on other teams around the league. So if you're new and you're just seeing, it's not going to just be Warriors coverage. I'm going to talk hoops around the league weekly. And yeah, man, I mean, this is, you know, have a little fun, talk a little trash, but this is who I am. Like, if you meet me in real life, like, I'm on the courts every day hooping. This is a lifestyle to me. So I know ball, and we have fun talking about it here. So hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.